So let's get match number 2 started. It's going to be a TVP, Canata versus SangHo. So we're gonna get a shot of SangHo, our Protoss player. So not a bad record overall, pretty small sample size. He is with Estro and he is a promising player as well, up and coming. So we'll see what he's able to do. On the other side, we will have a Terran player. This Terran player is essentially going to be from SKT-T1, Canata. So a bigger sample size than SangHo. Pretty nice record overall. His VP doesn't look the greatest though, but again, very small sample. One thing to keep in mind is Canata is on SKT-T1, meaning that he does have the guidance of both Box and I Love OOV. And one of his old IDs used to be I Love OOV Jiju, which essentially means disciple of I Love OOV. So you can see they're pretty close, so to speak. The match itself will be Katrina. So this should be an interesting one. Fighting. So we have our Protoss SangHo spawning at 9 o'clock. And we have our Orange Terran Canata spawning at 3 o'clock. Now another small tidbit of information which I found interesting was one of the ways that Boxer used to give Canata strength, basically reminding him of who he is basically using the simple phrase, "You are Canata." So I believe the idea was that Boxer was basically telling Canata that, you know what, I believe in you, you should believe in yourself. So that was always interesting. Now we'll see how both players will play out this map. They are on different spawns, like horizontal spawns, rather than being close to, say, like 12 and 3, for example. We'll see if either of them will decide to go for something like a CC first or a Nexus first, or just play more standard. Now we did see the pylon all the way at the front of SangHo's base. So I do expect it's more than likely going to be a gateway going up. And we see the probe there, so it is great. And you can see the PVT record on Katarina is 17.5. So this is heavily Protoss favored. We'll see if Canada will be able to break this despite having a 25% PVT or TVP win rate. Now scouting pattern wise, SangHo will not be scouting Canata just yet. He's going to 12 o'clock. He'll be sending him in the next round. We'll see if Canada, and I believe Canada has his racks already down. So it looks like he's looking to create a wall in this case, which is not a bad idea. This will help definitely with the Zealots, and this should be Zealot tight. On the other hand, we'll have to see what SangHo will decide to do. If he's going to go for like a, another gateway, if he's going to go up to like a Nexus right after the gateway that he has already, if he just keep up Zealot aggression, or what he plans basically to do. Now considering Canata's position and the wall, and the probe has scouted this, it wouldn't make sense just to keep going heavy Zealots, because again, you might as well save up the Zealots and the resources and just tech up or expand. But I mean, we'll see. Canata is going to the back. We see no gas, so this is more than likely a CC coming in as well. So a Rax expand, which is not a bad idea. First Zealot is being rallied out, and SCV is going to scout around for Canata. We see no gas for SangHo just yet. Typically getting the gas, getting a core. We see a bunker as well. So this is a nicely played bunker. Nicely placed. This will cover everything basically. I would have liked it personally behind the depot just because it will reduce the surface area for any Zest to attack. But essentially will have to go all the way around the depot. Oh, we do see a force coming in as well. Okay, and there is that probe there. So I wonder if this is going to be some kind of a pylon at the front with some cannons in the back, because he is still making Zealots, right? He's up to what? Two Zealots, 3 Zealots? I can see a couple things moving all around the map. And the thing about this monkey is that it's so far out that if SCVs had to repair it, they'll have to basically get the racks to lift up and walk all the way around. Now we do see the forge has been cancelled and Assemblita is coming in, plus the next has went down. So it looks like either the forge was a mistake from SangHo or he decided to cancel his plan. Either way, I don't think this was a bad idea to cancel, basically. Because keep in mind, he doesn't really know what Canata is doing behind this. He does have quite a bit of zealots at the front, though. So see what happens. Oh, and the zealots are moving in, basically. Oh, and he's targeting the bunker as well. Now, there is an SCV that can actually repair this. But the bunker HP is extremely low. It's already burning as well. And the SCV is being targeted, which is a good call. So this bunker will be going down. There's a couple marines in there, so he's at least 2 marines is more likely going to be lost. Maybe a third one as well, depending. Okay, so he gets this another one, and he's gonna get at least an ab on that one. Okay, so not a bad idea from SangHo. Now Canata, from my perspective, does have a nice advantage because he's stacking up. He already has his first factory up, and looks like he's starting his second factory as well. On the other hand, SangHo basically, his Nexus is not even done just yet. And his core just is just finishing recently, basically. It's still in the early part of the game, so we'll see what other them decide to do. Now, as mentioned in some of the previous casts of this map is somewhat nice for air units. So we'll see if SangHo will decide to go for like carriers in the later part of the game if it goes that far or not. The SCV is still scanning around, so Canata doesn't know what is going on here. So the core is finished, just more pylons. So we'll see if Canata will be getting his armory in the next minute or two. That'll give us an idea of upgrade-wise what he's planning to do. Oh, okay. So it looks like the zealots are actually just gonna walk through. So this is gonna be great for SangHo because we'll give him a lot of important information. So he does see the 2 factories are finished. He does see the machine shop spinning, and there's some vultures out. So I mean, if there's vultures out, it's more than likely they might be just mines coming in. We do see the Stargate going up as well for SangHo. So there's only a single one now. If he does add another one though, it's more than likely would be carriers at this point, so it's not a bad idea. So the 2-base carrier, we have seen this quite popular with Mini in the latest ASL against Rush. We will have to see though what SangHo decides to do. So we can see the vultures are outside the main now, and they have speed as well. And there's 2 more factors coming up for Canata as well. Does he have the armory yet? Okay, so the army is building the academy as well. So he can definitely get the comm set and get an idea of what SangHo is doing. So I do like this nice pylon placement because this gives him a lot of vision for any kind of incoming drops. It gives him a little more time to react. And we do see the mines have come out. Now this probe will be caught, so any kind of scanning would have been denied. And the comms stations are also coming in as well. Now here's the one thing, we did see only the one Stargate. If there is another Stargate coming in, then, and I do see a couple things on the map, then this is definitely more than likely carriers. So yeah, it's confirmed carriers. You see the fleet beacon. So what this means is that if Canata does manage to scout this with the comsat, the scans, then he can start preparing Goliath before the carriers are out. So this will give him a nice advantage where he's not going to be blindsided by these carriers. The worst thing to happen in a TVP is to have a mostly ground army and then find 4 carriers at your front. And we see the 5th Goliath is out. So 2 Stargates are pumping already, so his first 2 carriers are being made. The army, I believe I saw, was spinning when we saw it earlier on. And the port is coming in as well. So we'll see if he decides to do some kind of drops later on. Now I don't see any observers. I don't believe he even got the robo either. So it looks like he's basically just using the zealous to mine sweep to drag some mines. Oh wow, and that was a fantastic hit as well. There was a 4 vultures died there and another one that was killed by the dragoon, so 5 killed for a single zealot. I would say that's great. The robot's just coming in now as well, but halfway done. So observers will still be a bit far out. But we do see a probe moving out, so it looks like that might be taking the third base there, where the goons were standing. That might be the part of the reason he cleared some of the mines. The facility is done. And so there's more gateways. Okay, and looks like the first two kills are almost out. This Vulture will deny the probe Scott, but looks like Dragoons will block the other one. More and more Goliaths are coming out as well. So looks like Canata has an idea of what SangHo might be up to, and his third is on the way. And we see a second armory. So I mean, this feels like it's becoming very similar to that Flash versus Free game we just had on Loki 2. Slightly different with the openers, but the way Flash went with the double armory upgrade. So this looks like it could potentially be what Canata had in mind, because we see this already 4 Goliath out, and there's 4 facts, and we already saw a couple Goliath out or being made as well. Now the position is very interesting because, as mentioned, you can definitely range the mineral lines. So if he gets the tanks sieged at the bottom of the minerals with some vision, he will definitely range them. So it'll make it extremely hard to deny the probes from mining at that base. So, and we see the army spinning. Oh, and so that is a nice pylon there, just trying to deny any CCs from landing. And we see the racks. So this is a great play from Canata. This is going to provide a lot of vision. The racks have a lot of HP as well. Now we do have the two carriers sitting there, another 2 coming in, so it's more than likely, I would presume that SangHo will not reveal this just yet. But we see endless Goliath production from Canata. Oh, and that is a nice beautiful probe snipe, but now this will delay the next if it was coming in. Oh, it looks like he actually showed the KZ too, so he does not want to lose this racks, and he won't because the carry count is extremely low. And there is quite a bit of Goliath, but this station is really nice because it will deny a lot of mining at that base once the Nexus is up. But at the same time, it does mean that the tanks are easier to pick off by the carriers. So we will try and see what SangHo's micro is like. Now these mine drags have hit a couple of the zealots, but there is quite a sizable army from SangHo moving up to the map, and this might, this looks like it's actually going to trigger Canata to move back because he can't afford. He can't afford to have the whole army roam to his side of the map because he can lose a lot, and he has his third base, so economical wise, he is in a great position. But that is a beautiful scan there. He will actually see the moving army, and yeah, this is probably not a good idea for SangHo to attack, even though he is up the ramp. He has a lot of zealots in here. A lot of these things will melt before they even make contact. And wow, that's a huge amount of Goliath as well that we see. But we see a lot of mythic turrets as well, so it looks like Canata wants to fortify that area just outside or just behind the mineral line of the third base for SangHo. Now I don't know about this Goliath versus Goons. Honestly, he's probably pulled these back. He wouldn't want to lose his Goliath because that will open up an opportunity for SangHo to kill his tanks, which are the backbone of this army. And you know, a Goliath only army versus Zealot Dragoon is not exactly a strong army. Basically, you need to have the tanks in there. Now he doesn't want to lose the tracks. If he loses the tracks, he will have to rebuild it again to make any more factories. So this was a nice win for SangHo, and this also means that Canata doesn't have any vision anymore, unless he has scans. The third base is going up. Again, eco-wise, is definitely in Canata's position. His army is extremely nice as well. He has a reasonable amount of Goliath. And the interceptor count is growing, but it's still not too crazy just yet. And there's only just 4 carriers, so he still has a good chance in this game. But we do see the great targeting from SangHo, even with the low interceptor count. And he's already killed the 1 tank, so we'll see how much he's going to manage. But again, protecting those tanks is extremely important for Canata. He does not want to lose them. So observers, all we see right now is oh, and he gets another tank as well, and looks like he's going to get a 3rd tank as well. So SangHo still playing this really well despite having the subpar economy in comparison to his opponent. Now we do see quite the army at. Oh, and looks like SangHo's going to pull back. So it looks like it's more just. So maybe it's likely feints from SangHo. We see 2 more factories. But it's likely SangHo is just doing the feint just so that Canata will have to move back and forth. Because keep in mind, if he moves back in that direction, Canata has to reciprocate. He basically just can't let this army roam that side of the map because that's still a pretty decently sized army. If they get into his base, they deny the third, kill all the SCVs, that will affect him. The carrier count is up again now, so we're up to what, 5 carriers now? 6 carriers? Looks like there's about 4 at the bottom. Now one of them is about halfway wounded, or more than half wounded. But he does manage to kill a lot of the ground army, so this is a nice win for Canata. And because keep in mind, he can always reclaim the ground behind the third again and deny the mining. It's not the end of the world there. Losing a couple of turrets while SangHo has lost, what, like the 5-6 goons, probably a couple of zealots as well. Definitely a nice win for Canata. Looks like he wants to take a fourth as well, but there is mines denying that. We do see some DTs added into mix, which is not a bad idea because during the chaos, it might be hard to, to see or to get an idea that they are mixed in with the army. Now the interceptor count is going up so much as well as the care, so it is becoming a little more dangerous for Canata. But SangHo should definitely be careful. He doesn't want to be fighting on such an open ground because this will help the Goliath. Oh, and those are some beautiful tanks as well from Canada. The position there, those will basically give them a lot of intel about the army movement, and they will deny the army from going there. But we do see SangHo is putting up more and more pylons around the bottom right of the map. I can see what looks like 2 there, 1 in the bottom right as well. So again, that will deny Canata from just taking more and more bases there, especially with the amount of pressure he is putting on the third. And you can see interceptor count is going up more and more, and that's what, 3 tanks killed right now. There's going to be probably a 4th tank being killed. Yeah, a 4th tank being killed as well. So this army here, the DTs can do a lot of work, but the scan does come in. So this should be just fine for Canata, basically. And he's doing a fantastic job with keeping the push up. His upgrade should be done at this point. I believe he's at, yeah, so it looks like it's 0-1. So his 2-1 must be researching right now, so we should see that pretty soon. And you can see these 2 tanks have completely shut down the mining of this third base. And as mentioned, there was no 4th just yet because it was being blocked by the mine. So you can see this more and more Goliath being streamed in. Now he doesn't want to lose the tanks. He's going to lose another tank. He's more likely going to lose this tank, but the carriers are actually moving in the front, so he has to move back because he doesn't want to lose those. He wants to build up their numbers. Oh, and he almost lost that carrier. But the interceptor count is quite low again because there's a huge amount of Goliath here. And this is honestly very... I mean, the Goliath count is great for the carriers, but he's going to lose another tank. And then another tank. So this is going to leave the Goliath exposed because I don't think we saw any tanks, right? There was no other tanks in there that were joining the fray. And we do see a bit of SangHo's army looping around the top and denying that 4th base. So that is a nice win. Looks like this base will be denied as well. So this is and cancelled too. So these are both nice wins for SangHo. So he puts Canata back on his third. Although I do see a base at the bottom, if I'm not mistaken. So he might be on a 4 bases now. So this tank prism is very interesting. This will be able to range the gas, so he can actually deny the gas at the third base. But the tank is going to be completely dead as well, but there is a lot of interceptors basically. So once the carrier count gets up extremely high, you can always target the interceptors because they do cost money and take a while to build. And because of that, what this essentially means is that the process will have to keep, the carriers become useless if they don't have much carriers, right? Especially with the Goliath having an upgrade advantage, which I believe they do in this case. But this army seems to be heavy Goliath right now, so this can be extremely dangerous because against Zealot Goon, then this army can honestly melt with enough units. Now, Canata is taking his 4th base. He does need to get some tanks into those Goliath ASAP from my perspective, and he only just has the 2 machine shops. He can only make 2 tanks at a time. Oh, okay, and we see goons coming in from the back. So this is what I was talking about basically. I mean, the goon army is extreme. Oh, and then there's quite a bit more. Okay, so he's going to lose basically most of these Goliath as well. And we see even high Templars in the mix too, so I'm expecting Storm at some point. And losing the middle ground there just does give Okay, so one quick thing to point out, 1-1 has finished for our Protoss, 2-1 has finished for the Terran, so a slight upgrade advance for our Terran player, 1-1 being for the carriers. Now, the center ground has been cleared, so this does give... Oh, but that is a nice knife from Canata. Oh, and Storm is coming in the mix as well, so Storm can be extremely potent against Goliath, especially with how they bunch up. And you can see there's about, what, like 4-5 different High Templars there? There is a decent sized tank count for Canata, but his Goliath count is extremely low. And we see some DTs basically chopping at the force. This is not a bad idea. This can actually do a lot of damage here. We don't see a scan yet, and it does look like Canata is actually trying to push up this ramp basically. Not a good idea from my perspective. You don't want to be pushing up against this many High Templars with Storm. Scan does go in, so there is 2 Goliath here. We'll see if they're able to actually stop the DT, but one DT is down, another DT could potentially be very close to being down. Oh, and the scan runs out just before, and you can see 10 kill DT. The SCVs will have to run away basically. So this DT has done a lot of fantastic damage already. Of course, it will be cleaned up by Canata, which is pretty nice. Didn't even see the scan there, so it was amazing on his part, very quick. Now the Goliath count, the tank count is back up again, so this arm is looking quite fearsome again, especially with the upgrade advantage. Now on the other hand, you can take a look at the interceptor count. That honestly seems extremely low for how many carriers there are here basically. Each one can have about 8 interceptors, and this is what, like 6-7? You can be looking at about 50-ish plus easy, but... However, there is quite the sizable army from SangHo on the bottom right, and there is quite a bit of High Templars, and those can definitely change the flow of the game with a couple of well-placed storms. Looks like he actually will be trying to deny this 5th base, which is not necessarily a bad idea because there is a bit of a choke there with the minerals and such. Oh, and those are some beautiful storms basically, so he's just blanketing the area. You can see a lot of Goliaths are basically bugging out with the movement. So he's killed a lot, and the carriers are coming in from the other side, but it's just enough here, and he gets a carrier as well. So not a bad play from SangHo basically here. I think he just needs a couple more units there, and he might be able to bust through, but we see quite a bit of Goliath from the backside. So he's basically going to be regaining control outside the 3rd base there, and you can see the carriers just can't engage this either because again the interceptor count is extremely low. Now the 4th base of SangHo is now up. I can see on the map there, so at least he'll have the 2 bases mining now. But there's no doubt that his one of his gas, if not both at this point, 20 minutes in, are probably empty, so he might be running on a single gas basically, which is the 3rd base, and that's been denied basically, so he's probably gas starved. And again, Canata just keeps hitting the interceptors over and over again, and SangHo will just have to keep replacing them over and over again as well. And this plays into Canata's advantage. Oh, that was nice as well. That was another mini win for Canata. Now keep in mind, Canata is in a fantastic position. He has 3 bases. 2 bases mining, and the 3rd one is being set up if it's not mining already. He has a nice army, great upgrades. He's taking another base in the bottom right. On the other hand, SangHo is on just 2 mining bases with a gas that can't even be established anymore because of the tanks. Although the gas is he does have the gas now, but this doesn't mean that Canata does have an opportunity now. It looks like he is going to be pushing this, and he should have more than enough to break this. Now he needs to be careful in case there's any High Templars and storms. But looks like he's basically just going to go for the kill on the 3rd base. And what can the carriers do basically? He's going to have to keep going outside the Goliath range because he is basically targeting the carriers. And he's going to lose another carrier as well. And he might even lose another one as well. Perfect, so this 3rd base is going to go down. Does Canata know about the 4th base? That's another question because he can easily kill it. It's quite exposed now. We do see some High Templars for some storm drop, but honestly, Canata is so far ahead at this point that even if he gets the money storm or an amazing storm, it's not going to change the outcome from my perspective. There is quite a bit of High Templars here. Oh, and that was some amazing storm dodging. I don't even think a single SCV was lost. But you can see this is extremely fearsome army. So those are some nice storms basically. especially with the gauge was acting as chokes as well. But what can SangHo do? So I am expecting the GG at some point. There's more than enough army here to repel the carriers. The gauge wars are being targeted, so he's not going to be able to make much of a ground army. And his carriers are already pretty low on interceptors, basically. The DTs aren't really going to do much at this point either. There should be enough scans with the 5 CCs. Almost 6 now, or if not 6 already. So another carrier is going to go down as well. Oh, and another carrier too. So he's down to the what, like the 2, 3 carriers? Yeah, this is definitely Canata's game. So it looks like Canata will be going up to the winners match. It'll be Canata versus Quanro, so that'll be an interesting match as well. We're just waiting for the GG from SangHo. He's put up a great fight, but Canata also played really well and solid the whole game. GG, well played by both players.